Have you ever looked around a room and just felt, I don't know, a glitch? Just this fleeting sense that the world around you is actually a meticulously crafted set? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we aren't just looking at some fringe scientific theory. We are investigating reality itself. So I want you to suspend your disbelief for a moment and journey with me into one of the most mathematically compelling and frankly, mind-bending concepts in modern thought.
Seriously, I want you to really interrogate your own senses right now. What if everything you see, touch, and feel just isn't real? What if the device you're watching this on, the chair you're sitting in, the temperature of the air in the room, and even the hands resting in your lap right now are nothing more than complex lines of code running inside some massive, incomprehensible cosmic computer? Which brings us to our core focus today, simulation theory. Now, this isn't just a sci-fi trope reserved for late-night movies. It's a legitimate hypothesis where rigid physics, ancient philosophy, and, honestly, a touch of existential dread all spectacularly collide. It suggests that what we boldly call life, the universe, and everything in it, is actually an elaborate artificial construct, an illusion. And as we dig into the evidence today, you'll see exactly why some of the absolute brightest minds in the world take this incredibly seriously.
Are we living in code? Let's start peeling back the layers of this existential crime scene.
Section 2, from Plato to Bostrom. Okay, let's dive into this.
You know, the suspicion that reality is a trick isn't actually some new product of the internet age or modern computing. It actually began over 2 millennia ago. The Greek philosopher Plato imagined this dark cave. In his famous allegory, prisoners are chained facing a blank wall, and they're forced to watch shadows cast by a fire behind them. To these prisoners, those flickering shadows, that is the absolute truth. If you went up and told them about a vibrant, three-dimensional world outside the cave, they'd think you were completely crazy. It was really humanity's first conceptual brush with a simulated reality. This foundational idea that our senses only show us a tiny fraction of the truth, and that we might be completely blind to the larger system that contains us.
Now fast forward to the 17th century with René Descartes. He pushed this ancient paranoia even further. He famously wondered if everything he could see, touch, and experience was actually being manipulated by a deceptive demon, like a malevolent entity solely dedicated to feeding his mind a completely fabricated world. He realized a terrifying truth. His senses could be hacked. And if your senses can be hacked, meaning your brain is just interpreting electrical signals, then absolutely nothing you perceive can be trusted with 100% certainty.
So these ancient philosophical suspicions didn't just fade away over time, they evolved. We go from 380 BC with Plato's cave, jumping to 1641 AD with Descartes, right up to a massive turning point in 2003. Over the centuries, what began as abstract philosophical thought experiments literally morphed into a modern, terrifying scientific debate. I mean, humanity started building actual computers, and suddenly, Descartes' deceptive demon didn't seem so magical anymore. It started to look a whole lot like a programmer.
That 2003 turning point I mentioned, that is all thanks to philosopher Nick Bostrom. He sharpened these ancient questions into an inescapable rule of three, known as a trilemma. Basically, he argued that one of these three statements absolutely must be logically true. Point 1. Civilizations naturally die out before becoming technologically advanced enough to run universe-sized simulations. Maybe they destroy themselves through war or, say, environmental collapse. Point 2. Advanced civilizations do survive, but they just lose interest in running simulations of their ancestors. They find other things to do. Or, point 3, and here's the kicker, if the first two are false, meaning civilizations do survive and they do run simulations, then we are almost certainly living inside one right now. Just think about the math here for a second. If a civilization can run billions of simulated universes, the odds of us being the one single base reality are practically zero. We would mathematically be far, far more likely to be one of the billions of simulations. That single paper is what forced scientists to legitimately confront our potential artificial existence.
Section 3, Physics of a Program. Now, let's speed things up a bit and look at the actual forensic evidence.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when we shift from philosophy to modern astrophysics, because things get even stranger. When we peer into the breathtaking depths of space, we have to ask, is the universe fundamentally built on physical matter, or is it fundamentally built on information? Think about the fundamental laws of physics for a second. Gravity, electromagnetism, the absolute speed of light. Why is the speed of light a hard cosmic speed limit? In a purely physical universe, that feels kind of arbitrary, right? But in a computed universe, the speed of light looks exactly like the maximum processing speed of a computer's CPU. The rigid constants of nature behave remarkably like the strict parameters of an operating system, rules that simply cannot be exceeded.
To really wrap our heads around this, let's look at the incredible overlap between quantum mechanics and digital code. At the quantum level, particles don't actually have a set physical state until they are observed or measured. Before that, they just exist in this mathematical haze of probability, snapping into place only when needed. Now, compare that to a video game. In a game, to save processing power, the environment doesn't render everything all at once, does it? It only renders the pixels when the player's camera actually looks in that direction. The unseen areas, they just remain unrendered data. To a lot of physicists, this strange quantum observer effect looks suspiciously like a rendering engine. It strongly suggests reality is built from data on demand, rather than dust that's just always there.
Section 4. Creators of Artificial Realities.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it begs the question, if we're a program, who is the programmer? The terrifying mirror for the universe might just be humanity itself. We are already stepping into artificial worlds today. Virtual reality lets us inhabit environments that trick our senses perfectly. We have game engines that render photorealistic lighting in real time. We have artificial intelligence creating digital characters that can think, learn, and respond dynamically. Add the incoming processing power of quantum computing into the mix, and we are quite literally building the foundation to simulate our own universes right now.
So, if we as humans are already building such convincing simulations with today's relatively basic technology, we are just a few decades after inventing the microchip, what could a civilization thousands of years ahead of us create, or 1,000,000 years? The logical conclusion is that a post-human society utilizing the energy of entire stars to power their servers could easily render entire universes populated by billions of conscious beings who are completely unaware that their world isn't real, beings exactly like us.
Section 5. Free will and system resets. Let's slow down for a second and think about what this actually means for us. If reality is coded, are our choices actually real, or are they pre-programmed? Think about the coffee you chose to drink this morning, the career path you followed, every heartbeat in your chest, every profound thought you've ever had. They could all be nothing more than deterministic lines of code executing at the exact right millisecond. Free will, the very thing that makes us feel deeply, uniquely human, might be nothing but a flawless illusion designed by a system architect just to keep the simulation running smoothly. And that leads us to the ultimate biological question. What happens when we die? In a simulated universe, death isn't a spiritual journey, nor is it just a biological breakdown of cells. It is a system reset, a deletion of data. It is the exact moment an asset is simply removed from the active program to free up memory. If our lives are essentially just complex conscious files on a cosmic hard drive, perhaps death is simply the server clearing space for the next generation of programs to run. I'll leave you with this final, lingering thought. If reality is just code, what happens when the system stops running you?